Good morning, Joe. The drug industry facing what some industry analysts call an existential threat from a drug pricing bill backed by Democrats that seeks to give Medicare the ability to negotiate drug prices. The Congressional Budget Office estimates this could save $450 billion over 10 years. But unsurprisingly, the drug industry is fighting this hard. And joining us now to discuss that is Eli Lilly Chairman and CEO Dave Ricks. Dave, thanks for being here this morning. Tell us about your take on this bill, where it stands, and why you feel so strongly about it.
Yeah, thanks, Meg, for having me on. It's a really important topic, I think, for our industry, but I think also for the future health of our country. What was proposed in the budget instruction from the Senate and passed through the House Ways and Means Committee is a $700 billion ask out of the industry over the next 10 years. Just to put that in perspective, that would be 40% of the revenues of this industry in the United States, and we think would fundamentally restructure how our business model works. Certainly for big companies like Lilly, if we have a 40% revenue cut, we're going to have to cut R&D by more than 40%. And I think, more importantly, even for the small companies that are such a font of innovation in biotechnology, I really don't see how they could raise any money at all in this future environment. So we oppose this idea, and the mechanism to achieve that savings we oppose in principle as well, which is this idea that there's a so-called negotiation between the company and the federal government. But in the detail of that negotiation, what's proposed is that either you agree with what the HHS secretary wants you to set your price at, or you face a 95% gross sales tax. So that's not a real negotiation. That's just price setting. So we don't like that either. But we have other ideas that we're for to reform Part D benefit, which is the senior drug benefit, and really close those out-of-pocket gaps in that plan design.
You know, it seems like just from watching this, analysts don't give it a whole lot of, high expectations that bill as written is really going to get through. There does seem to be a lot of fighting about it, and there's been some proposals that trim it back a little bit. Are there compromises? I think one of the proposals is that there would be negotiations on some drugs, but not all drugs by Medicare. How does the industry feel about that?
Yeah, this is what's kind of vexing about the moment, Meg, but, I'm optimistic. 2 years ago, there was an effort in the Senate to pass a bipartisan reform of this Part D benefit. Now, this is about a third of American innovative drug use is in the Part D benefit design. And when that was passed 20 years ago, it was done, through Congress, sausage making, and there are gaps in the plan design. At one phase of the benefit, seniors have to pay 20% of the list price. It's the only major benefit in the U.S. that is uncapped in terms of out-of-pocket costs. So if you're on a rare medicine that's expensive, you may have to pay thousands of dollars as someone on a fixed income. But there is agreement across both sides of the aisle and with the industry that we want to fix this program and reduce that out-of-pocket costs. And we can do this really by the industry contributing to this without really much impact to the taxpayer. We'd like to get something like that done, which would have a profound impact for American seniors. What's being proposed, though, is well beyond this, and it's designed that way to raise money for other priorities, which, we don't want to be the piggy bank for those other priorities. We want to use our returns to invest in R&D and create tomorrow's cures.
Right. I've been hearing from patients, particularly people who live with diabetes, who feel like they're a piggy bank for the pharmaceutical industry. Let's talk about insulin prices, because this is part of some of these proposals in these drug pricing bills. And Lilly has taken steps to try to provide less expensive forms of insulin. But some advocates for lower prices say they feel really arbitrary. You've got sort of an unbranded version that's half the price of your branded Humalog. And I think you just announced a price cut on that. What do you say to patients who just feel like these prices are totally arbitrary and they're really dependent on this drug to live and dependent on the goodwill of pharmaceutical companies to make it affordable for them?
Thanks, Meg, for that important question. We're deeply committed to making insulin affordable for every patient who needs insulin. We've offered a range of programs to do that. I think the most important ones, one you mentioned, which is we launched a generic against our own product because the generic market for biosimilar insulin is broken. It rewards high prices, not low prices. So we've launched initially at half price, and we just recently cut it another 40%. So Lilly's a generic of our own best-selling product, is 70% off. That's had a modest uptake in the market, and I think that demonstrates, back to the H.R. 3 and the debates in Washington, why just cutting list pricing does not work for patients. What you need to do is enhance the benefit so that the out-of-pocket costs at the point of sale are lower. We've done that too, in two important ways. One, we have a program for all commercially insured or even uninsured patients who use Lilly insulin, that they can pay no more than $35 a month for their insulin. That is a simple thing to sign up for. It happens at the pharmacy counter. It's virtually automatic. And then also, we worked with PBM plans and others who provide Part D benefit to launch a model under the CMMI provisions that the HHS Secretary has. This is under the previous administration, but it's going now to reduce out-of-pocket costs for seniors who sign up for a particular type of plan, if they use insulin, at $35 a month as well. It's wildly successful, just more than halfway through its first year. Lilly and our others in the industry got together and got that done. So I think that really points the way forward, which is pricing is important, but more important is plan design and what we ask patients who are sick with an illness they didn't ask to have to pay out of pocket. Lower is better, and we want to keep pushing that plan design argument.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.